Hey everybody, and welcome to Today Q&A. I am your host, Roland, and my expert today is Man Who Fights with Bears, also known as Ursinity. Ursinity, how are you?
I am grand. I went out. Well, being that it's the holiday, a lot of my friends that are usually very busy had off, so we went out and got wings, and it was fantastic. So I am having a good day, a very full day, a tired day, but tired from overeating, which for me means eating like a normal person. Like
just wings or like beers and wings?
No, it's just wings and waffle fries. Lots of waffle fries.
Nice.
There's only 4 of us, and we ordered 70 wings, so it was not like there's not room in the stomach.
Well, much. I mean, you can only eat like 4 with your little belly.
Yeah, I did not pull my weight. I'll say that. But they know, I've known these guys for a long time, right? So it's like a well-established thing that I eat like a small child. I had 10, and they were 10. Great. And they're big wings too. They're not like this is a place that specializes in wings, and they're really good. But they're big, so it's not like some dinky little tiny little chicken wing. It's like a full,
Yeah,
it's a good experience, but yeah, I eat like nothing. Just it's well established among anybody who's eaten with me ever is I never finish a meal, but I'm still full, and that's what counts. But anyway, so I'm having a good day.
You're a grown boy, you know.
We hope I'm a grown boy.
So I got a question for you, seeing as you're a New Yorker.
Okay.
The Times Square thing. Do you ever do that on New Year's?
That's
I heard it's misery.
I've done it once.
Oh, you have done it. Okay.
It's one of those things where I remember seeing a post, and I wish I remembered it exactly. But somebody was saying, this is how you know somebody's a true New Yorker is they've never gone to Times Square on New Year's Eve. It's like people go see the tree for Christmas. That's one of the big things that people do. But almost I don't know anybody that goes on a yearly basis that is from New York or in the surrounding area that bothers to go to Times Square, because it's just packed, and it's not great. It's a good experience to have once, I'll say that. It's fun.
How old were you when you did it? The one time. Were you 20? Young? Oh, you were 20. Okay, so you. Yeah. And what is it? Just you wait in line to get a beer, and you were 20, I guess you weren't even drinking.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately,
what's the appeal there? I don't get it, I guess.
It's just it's one of those things that's very romanticized, right? People just think oh, you gotta do it, it's so fun. So I got dragged by a bunch of friends, because I have friends that are city people. I'm not a city person, that's for sure. But it's just one of those things where it's people think it's gonna be really fun, and you go for the experience, even though it's not it's not great. Basically you're just standing packed like sardines, with a ton of people that are all excited and jumping up and down and whatnot. And it's just packed. It's like any bar you go to on a holiday, but outside in the cold. Where it's just
it sounds miserable.
It's not great. I mean, the people that like that kind of stuff like it, and I understand that, but it's not my scene, as they say.
I guess it's probably exciting though when the ball drops, right? That's the whole point of it. It's the ball's dropping, and you're oh my god. Is that is that the big appeal there? It's thank God I get to leave here soon. And how does that crowd disperse? Also, how long does that take?
Slowly. The fun thing, though, and I've not done this, but I'm thinking about doing it next year. And I know I read a whole article about people that do it. But what they have is they have Japanese New Year in Times Square at 3 p.m. or whatever. I forget the exact time zone difference. I think they're 9 hours ahead.
Oh,
but
cool.
It's either 8 or 9 hours. But so they do a separate ball drop, and a few hundred people come out, or a couple hundred people come out, and it's just a smaller version. They do the countdown and everything, and it's it's not only a Japanese thing. It just is one of those fun I'm trying to think of the good word for it, but it's just something that people do. As every year they do this at 3 p.m. or whatever it is. So I might do that next year, because that sounds like fun. My friend was telling me about that. So yeah, but it is what it is. I get why people like it. It's not for me.
Yeah, understandably so. I mean, it's not even for me watching it on television. Even then I get claustrophobic, and I'm oh, yeah, that looks fucking awful.
I still watch it on TV. I went to a house party for it, which was fun, but it was mostly fun just because the Mariah Carey thing, which I feel so bad for her.
What happened? I don't even get it. I watched a video and I was like, isn't this what her concerts are like? Like, what? I don't get the big debacle. Was it lip syncing?
Well, the thing is, like, she couldn't even lip sync because her, her in-ear microphones weren't working, right? So she just couldn't hear anything. Like, she couldn't even hear her own music that she was, like, walking around on stage and dancing to. And now, like, because everybody knows me, the drama fiend.
Sure.
I don't do as much celebrity drama, but it is fun every once in a while. And so apparently one of the things that people are saying now is there's, like, a whole sabotage, basically conspiracy theory, because she, like, got it all checked out like a few hours beforehand, and then as the night went on, like people kept like switching the frequency for her in-ear microphone, and like her and her staff were all suspicious, and then like when it came down to it, obviously it didn't work. And so there's like some whole like weird backing thing that like not just her camp but like other people have corroborated, like they're doing things that people don't normally do that are like sound techs for these kind of events. So it's just one of those things where it's like
it's Russia, dude. That's who it is. Goddamn Russia, definitely. Messing with Mariah Carey.
She refused to perform at the inauguration, so now they're ruining all her performances for the rest of her life.
Oh, was she asked to perform at the inauguration?
No, but like the people that are performing are not Mariah Carey level. I'll say that much.
I know. But, I mean, heard that Elton John was like, Elton John's gonna perform at my inauguration. It's like, and Elton John was like, fuck no, I'm not.
Yeah. He would not be on the short list of people to perform. But yeah, I mean. I feel bad for her, and this is a weird tangent. We can get to Dota pretty soon.
No. I tried to ask Denny about this yesterday, and he didn't know anything about it. So.
Oh, see, I feel bad for her because a lot of people are blaming her, and like obviously it makes her look real bad, but really like it's seemingly not her fault, like at all. Like
she has a stage crew and stuff.
Yeah, like she's screwed by like sound techs and engineers. And, like if you've ever been in a big place, like you can't hear stuff. Like even if you're on a stage, like you just can't hear. Between like all the people yelling, etc., like what you're supposed to be singing or what have you, and like it's just a bad situation.
I can't hear myself with these headphones on unless I have a monitor. Like, do you have a monitor? Are you able to hear yourself in your own headphones?
Yeah. I mean, I hear myself speak.
If I am not able to do that, like if I don't have a monitor going, I just turn into slush, dude. I can't talk. Like I literally can't.
That's how noise canceling your headphones are.
Yeah, they're Sennheisers. They're like studio quality HD 280s, whatever. So Wazoo got a pair, and he lived below me for a while. He moved out finally, but he was like screaming all the time, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "These headphones are just too good." And I was like, "How do you even hear yourself?" Anyway, yeah, they're just over ear headphones that are like studio headphones that I got forever ago.
Yeah, I remember
nice.
I forget who it was. I think it might have been a podcaster, like Day 9 or someone that I was watching, them telling a story about how they had like those kind of headphones at one point, and the cops were banging on their door, like, because somebody like was missing somewhere, and they like wanted to know. And the cops ended up breaking their door down and like charging in with guns and stuff because
this was Call of Duty. I heard this story where they were wasn't this Call of Duty that they were playing some shooter?
I don't know what it was. I just know like the whole crux of the story was like his headphones were so noise canceling that like he could not hear the police at his door, so the police charged in and like with guns drawn because they legitimately were like, well, like this person is not answering us, and like they were. I think the story behind it was like they had misinterpreted that person's apartment for the apartment that was like had somebody in it or like had like a domestic dispute or something. So they came by, mistook his door for the one that like an actual incident was happening at, and then he didn't answer, which makes it seem suspicious. So they broke in, and it was all just basically the fault of like their mistake on top of him having like really good like studio sound canceling headphones.
Okay.
So,
all right.
We're a Dota podcast.
Welcome. It is. We are a Dota podcast, but before we go on, we have a new segment to do. I need to just hold on and get this list real quick. Hold on. All right, so here we go. This is our new segment, Ursi. It's called Good or Garbage, okay?
Oh.
Good or Garbage with Ursinity, okay? This has nothing to do with Dota, and then we will get into Dota, but this is going to be rapid fire responses, okay?
I just need to know. I'm very unprepared for this. I'll be honest,
you don't even know the questions that I'm about to throw you, but you just need to answer Good or
Yep.
garbage? Okay.
I thought this was a Monday show segment, so I was like, oh, I guess we're not doing it this week.
Nope, we're doing it. We're doing it right here, right now. Maelstrom's
All
new
right, I'm
cooldown to
excited.
0.2 seconds. Good or garbage?
Good.
GH joining Team Liquid.
Don't care. Garbage.
Garbage. Mariah Carey's New Year's Eve performance.
Garbage.
Maelstrom replacing Battle Fury.
Good.
Invoker not being able to do the things he used to do.
Garbage. Absolute garbage. The most garbage of anything so far.
Raindrops at getting only a 1 second cooldown added to them. On
Garbage.
Top. Garbage. What do you think that they should have? We'll pause on that.
I think they should just give him a less mana regen. It's too much value for one item right now. Or be a little more expensive.
You not being 5k anymore.
Garbage.
Why are you not 5k anymore?
Peer pressure.
Are you enjoying yourself on this new segment, good or garbage?
Yes, I'm enjoying myself.
You answer good or garbage. That's all you've got. 1440p or 1080p?
1080.
No, it's good or garbage.
Good. I don't know. I don't know what P. I don't know what
How do you
those
answer
are.
the question? We'll have more prepared next time. Denny says you were terrible at making them up. Denny was going to prepare like a whole list for this, but I just wanted to get it out of the way so we could get into Dota. Anyway, we are a Dota 2 podcast. This is Tuesday Q&A. I wanted to just do some housekeeping with Ursinity. I haven't talked to him in a little while. He was not on last week's Tuesday Q&A, but Ursinity will be the expert from here on out for Tuesday Q&A. Proud is going to be doing I guess revamping the .pro show. We're going to call it that still.
Yeah, I mean it's a good title. I came up with it, so I'm proud of that one. Yeah.
I feel like that always gets lost in translation on who created what. You know.
I mean,
did you really come up with that name?
Yeah, I'm like very certain that I came up with .pro show because I like all those .p puns. I like the .p .pro show .points
.peeps.
I didn't come up with that one.
I came up with .peeps, I think, and I came up with .pro, and I came up with all of them.
Dot as like a prefix. Dot prefix is so good.
Oh, dot
prefix. So I like coming up with stuff like that.
Oh man, good or garbage, Denny or me?
That which one? Like that's not a question. You need to think of better ones.
It has to be like yes or no questions.
Yeah.
Good or garbage, Cyphus?
Good.
Good or garbage, Roland?
Good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we were both good.
You really? I talk so much crap on you, and you're gonna give me the good?
I gotta be nice. I gotta be nice to the people that are lesser than me. Right?
Did you hear the Monday show today?
No, I didn't.
I called you an MMR hoarder, and that finally the teams were coming to clear out all that MMR you were hoarding, and that you're not actually 5K and all sorts of things.
I mean, I'm technically not 5K, right? But it's just the nature of the matter. But I mean,
why do you have to be such an adult about things? Like it's making me look petty. You need to fight back.
It's because you are petty. I didn't have work today because it's a holiday, so I didn't listen to the podcast. Okay,
so let's jump into one email question, and we're gonna hear from Chuby. This one's from the Goosh, the Gooshmeister Jay Gooshy. Says, hey, I'm Gooshy and a 6K meme MR guy. I wanted to know if you guys think climbing MMR at any range of the ladder with supports is plausible, and how do you find farm as a position 5 support?
Yes, it is quite possible. I mean, I climbed to 5K.
At any range?
Yeah, at any range.
But there's ranges you haven't been. Ursi.
That is true. Well, I mean, not necessarily, because I did play unranked when I was, effectively in those ranges, right? But I will say there are places where it is easier to climb as a core. But I think in general, this is such like a cliche answer, but you really have to play to your strengths. And some people, even if you told them, hey, I can guarantee you're going to have a 65% win rate as a mid player if you start spamming mid in, X hypothetical range, they just aren't a good mid player. So they would not gain at that 65% ratio or rate. So it really is, you have to play to your strength if you are the kind of person that excels in supporting, or if you are the kind of person that needs to have like a farm priority, a high farm priority like a mid or a safe lane. So with that kind of, answer that's not really an answer out of the way, I will say it's definitely possible, but you can accelerate. If you are much better than the MMR you're currently at, I will say it is easier to climb as a core, like as a mid or as a safe lane, because you can just take over the game completely, especially in mid. But you can, especially if you're more or less at the proper MMR, you can climb gradually. So it really just depends where you are. But I will say if you're like me playing on the Smurf that Mista gave me, that's like low 3K, I would be able to climb easily as a support, but I can climb more easily playing mid every game because I just absolutely dominate them and like it's no contest, and then I just take over the game. But I still would easily be able to climb as a safe lane. I mean, as a support. It's just it's just in degrees, right? But
yeah, I agree with what you had to say. And you've said this a while ago, where I can't remember the exact statistic, but you're basically like, what, 40% of the time it's out of you're going to lose no matter what, 40% of the time you're going to win no matter what, and 20% of the time it matters what you do. Is that your exact stat there?
No, I think.
How did you break that up?
I know you bring this up a lot of the time, actually.
I never remember.
But I know initially the numbers were 20% of the time you're going to win no matter what, 20% you're going to lose no matter what, 60% you're going to have some affirmative or negative effect on the game.
Oh,
and
okay.
Of that 60%, maybe 20 to 30 of it is going to be like you single-handedly winning or losing the game. But I would say definitely in 60% of the games at least, maybe even like 70, you're going to have some effect on whether you win or lose, right?
And I agree with that. I think that the 20%, so the 20% losing no matter what, I have games where, yeah, I'm doing great and I lose no matter what. A faceless void off lane that is doing well can't win the game. Especially if you're up against like an early game lineup and you have a Naga Siren that randomed as your safe lane, and you have, God, I can't remember our mid. It was bad, and we lost really quick. Yeah. But I didn't die. I got a lot of farm. I was doing super well. Hit chronos really well. But there's just, unless I'm freaking Wagamama, I can't rise like 2,000, 3,000 MMR above to play such a good faceless that I'm able to win against 5 people, basically.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, when you're playing on a 3,000 Smurf, you can carry like an anchor of 4 people doing poorly on a snowball mid, I'm guessing, is what you're talking, like a TA or a Tinker or something along those lines, right? Most mids, I guess, are snowbally. Shadow Fiend's even snowbally.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily put Tinker in that just because I find, and I actually don't play that account because of that. I may end up climbing it someday, but the games are just like, it was supposed to be a practice Smurf, but then like it's just so low, it's not
it just became applicable. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've only played like 5 games of it. But it is nice to have an account I can play with like my friends that are lower MMR on and play party MMR. And I just don't play core roles and it evens out more or less. But anyway, sure. Snowball. Yeah.
Oh, I want to get back to the question. I'm going to say that support being a plausible way to climb from 0 MMR to 2.5k MMR is a big no, honestly, because there is a point to like saving the dummies, right? Like you should probably pick defensive supports if you're going to support from 0 to 2500 MMR, like a Wyvern or Dazzle or something like that. But you're dealing with people that just simply don't have the mechanics to farm, and you are not going to scale like they are, and they're not scaling because they're not getting any farm. So honestly, like I tell people like, dude, just do 5 core gaming and just buy wards and courier, and still play a core, because I tried the whole supporting thing, and honestly, it didn't start working until I hit that 3100 mark and started playing a lot of Lich and a lot of Vengeful Spirit, and then I climbed like 700 MMR very, very quickly, just playing like Lich and Vengeful. So,
but at the same time, you were still saying like you are effectively doing the support's job. You're just playing like a super high farm priority support, right? Like if you're
I'm playing like a Slark safe lane, and I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna buy the courier. I'm fine with just buying the courier, but I'm gonna still play Slark safe lane. You know what I mean? Like, because I know that we have a Legion in jungle A, we have a Wraith King in jungle B, we have a goddamn Pugna mid, and then we have I don't know, some random off lane and then me solo laning Slark, I'm more than happy with just buying all the support items and playing the game as 5 core, because a support just, unfortunately, like if I play Lich at a lower MMR, I'm just not going to be able to do enough to turn the tide. I'll even if I'm playing excellent, I don't feel like I can make enough of a difference, if that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense. I just think I get what you're saying, right? Is like at very low MMRs, you cannot assume people have a basic level of competency, right? Like, I know that's like an argument people frequently make to when I or anybody else says like, oh, well, you could actually gain MMR support. Because when you're in that like 4,000 plus or 3,000 plus area, like you can assume people have some general level of like farming understanding.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I will question their decision making, but I know that they're going to want to last hit and get gold. You know what I mean? So
people are still terrible at it, honestly. I have so many games where people just like you'd think like, hey, buddy, you're 5,000 MMR, but they're still like they have 35 CS in like a barely contested lane. Anyway, I think when you're playing at those lower MMRs where it is just like fight kind of Dota, the idea you should have is just like if you're gonna play support, just play a support that fights a lot, right? And as long as you're doing the
like Lion, would you say
the bare minimum?
Is that a support that fights a lot?
Like a Pudge or a Spear Breaker
or Jakiro. Or Slardar. I've been seeing Slardar support.
Slardar, yeah. Okay. We were actually running that in practice last night. Or Ricky, like
that may have been where I've been seeing it.
It is just like you need to fit your playstyle to the games you're generally having, right? So
for sure.
If like that's not necessarily saying that you can't climb in those low MMRs as a support. It's just like you have to support in a way that's going to be effective for your MMR, right? Like there are different ways of supporting at different MMRs, and if you can't count on people to do the basic things, then just play greedier. But somebody still needs to buy courier, and you're still going to need wards.
Yeah.
Right? Like these things are still important. And just fight a lot, right? Like you can play like support Wraith King and jungle most of the time, but then, buy smokes or at least go for runes and pop out and kill a lane once in a while. Like it's totally viable.
Exactly. All right, so let's take our first call-in question. This is from Chubi. He is a 4,000 MMR player. Chubi, what's your question?
You got the MMR right. Well, I was thinking like, and hello. Hi, Roland. Hi, Ursi.
Hello.
I was thinking about like the duel and even like going full madness trilane in the mid. Something like that. Because like mid is much more important now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard of a time, once upon a time, that trilane mid was a thing. And you're thinking that because mid is so much more important that maybe the trilane might be coming back to mid, or it should?
Even like if it's a dual lane and someone roaming, like controlling the mid, it's much better maybe, considering the fact that like even a safe lane can just go a bit in a jungle, and it's much more safe right now, or as the same thing as an off lane right now. He has an shrine. He has like two small camps next to the off lane. So basically, they can, if something is not working well for one or two creep
waves.
Yeah. Creep waves, sorry, yeah. He can just go. And while the mid, if they're gonna lose, if they're not doing good on mid, then there's nowhere to fall back. And also, mid is easiest to go to gank.
Yeah, I mean, I see this all the time. Trust me, as a mid player, it makes it feel a little worse. But this is definitely, I think, for the last couple patches, and definitely now again, a thing that is here to stay. Unfortunately, until I stop being a mid player, I'm gonna have to suffer through it. I know in a lot of my recent games, and I talk about this on the podcast all the time, it makes me really dislike mid as a mid player now that there are just supports in my lane all the time. So frequently
experience
now,
is king. Is that why? Because experience has just become so much more important.
Experience is good. I think Chubi's point that it's the easiest place to just be as a support or as a like roamer, or even as an off lane, is you can just there are different ways to threaten mid, right? If you're threatening the safe lane, the enemy safe lane, it's pretty easy for that safe laner to just like be under tower, and the tower is well defended, and you can figure it out, right? And mid lane, though, you have a lot of different ways to come at it. And even if you're not directly like harassing the mid or anything, you can scare them out of XP or at least out of like gold or at least out of CS range. Make your lane for your mid easier, especially if they're playing like a Shadow Fiend. Because like now Shadow Fiend's picked often and he's always dual lane for like the first 2 waves. In any good game with the team, you're gonna have like a Rubik or a Witch Doctor or whatever random support helping your mid with Shadow Fiend for the first couple waves. So dual lane is definitely here to stay. I feel like I'm dual laned almost always in any team game, and then even in pubs, I am almost always dual lane mid. And sometimes that's like a roaming duo. So sometimes it's like a bounty hunter or whatever that's usually in your lane, but sometimes not. And then other times it's literally just somebody sitting there all the time. So dual lane's definitely here to stay. Trilane, I think, is uncommon, but I do see it sometimes, especially if they're playing a mid that is losing. So having these kind of support lineups where you're running like Vengeful Spirit, Witch Doctor, for instance, if you're running that, like you can very easily just leave your safe laner for 30 seconds, smoke over to mid, and with whatever mid laner you have, like let's say a Shadow Fiend or a Mirana or an OD or a LC, just instantly just pop somebody and kill them. So dual lane mid, definitely here to stay, 100%. Tri-lane, totally viable sometimes, and good to have it as an option, I will say. I don't think like the strict tri-lane mid like there was briefly in Dota 1 is ever going to be a thing again, but I think having a dual lane with an option of a third person will be possible.
I think it'd be really cool. Chuby,
I agree.
You had other questions. What do you have another question for us?
Yeah, I can do a follow-up on like a question that I'm totally clueless about. Usually I don't know what to do in this scenario. Like, you start the game, it's all pick, ranked, which is the worst case, and you have a first pick Pudge. I am honestly clueless what to pick after there's a Pudge in my team. What works good with them?
Okay. Ursi, what are you thinking here?
So if I have a first pick Pudge, which like Chuby says, it's fairly common now. And Pudge is legitimately a really, really good hero now. I will stand by that statement 1000%. Pudge is honestly a really good hero, and he's a fine first pick, honestly, because he can just roam around and do whatever. So if you're against the Pudge, that's one thing. You could just, you can either play around it and pick things that have saves like LC or Shadow Demon or OD, or you can, if it's on your team, pick things that work with it, right? So Pudge, he's going to be a roaming hero, and he's going to be threatening mid lane, and he's going to be threatening safe lane and making all that mess, right? So you want to pick something that is going to either be able to roam with him or come to lanes that he is roaming to. Like let's say he's roaming mid. You want to pick something like a Venge, to use a previous example, that can just TP that lane and like finish off the kill.
Wave and then stun, or swap if you have to for some reason if they're running away. Or
and there is another mentality to it where Pudge is a tanky support, so he has the advantage of, if you can pick 2 tanky supports, at times there's just too much to deal with. Like the other day I played against a Pudge Spirit Breaker roaming duo.
That's cool.
And it's like, theoretically it's bad, right? Because you're like, okay, you have 2 melee supports, they're both roaming, so your safe lane is going to be alone. But you could pick like a safe lane Weaver, say, and then this roaming duo, and they both roam mid, and it's like, okay, well, even if they don't kill me, let's say, I just can't, like, what am I going to do? I'm not going to harass 2 heroes that at 5 minutes have 1,000 health, and Spipper has like 9 armor. Like, that's just not a thing that you can do. So that is another way of thinking, right? Is if they have a bunch of heroes that already can't kill roamers, and don't deal a lot of burst damage or deal with roaming, then you could just double up and just pick like an Earth Spirit or a Spirit Breaker or a Treant or something. A lot of this depends on like what you have in your safe lane or your mid, etc. Because the other thing is, like, if you're trying to play a core, you want to play a core that's not going to need to be babysat, right? So maybe, if you have a roaming Pudge first pick, then don't pick Spectre, let's say, because you're probably not going to have 2 supports in your lane, and you're not going to want to pick something that is not going to be able to aggress if he ganks your mid lane, right? So if you're playing mid, you're going to want to play a mid laner that can fight like a TA or an Ember Spirit or a Shadow Fiend kind of, or a Mirana, because, you know, if Pudge comes to your lane, he's going to want to kill people, right? So if you're picking a hero that can't kill people, then, like, why, right? So
I agree.
You just have to play to Pudge's strengths, and you know, just have to hope he makes his hooks. That's always the X factor, right?
Chubby, thank you so much for your questions, man.
You're very welcome. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. We wish you well. All right. Interesting. Yeah, God, I've always wanted to be a Pudge player. I've
thought about it.
I really want to do it, but I feel like I would be inept because people have like 4 years experience playing Pudge over me. You know,
I feel like he's not as hard as people think, but it's just you always notice the bad plays and as people always talk about the Pudge effect, right? Is that the enemy Pudge makes 100% of his hooks, whereas the safe lane or the Pudge in your team misses 100%.
All of them. And it's because you notice the good plays, and you notice the good plays when you're against him, and you notice the bad plays when you're with him.
Yeah.
So the Pudge effect, I like that.
Pudge is legitimately a really good hero right now. If you're a Pudge picker, this is like your time to shine.
I'm gonna pick Pudge. I'm gonna try that because I'm supporting anyway. May as well be able to displace people and slow people and damage people and do all that.
It's scary, honestly. I hate that hero so much, and he's dominated many of my games, and especially as a mid player, it's doubly bad to have an enemy Pudge on the team.
Yeah. All right. Well, our next question is from Kumamizu. He is a 1300 MMR player. Kuma, what is your question?
All right. So, hey guys, my question's for either of you. Who would you say is the best hero for each position? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Great question. First, I have a counter question. Is your name meant to be like Bear Water? Right, because that's
Bear River, but yes, I caught that the first time you answered my question, and I was laughing my ass off.
I was gonna say because I had a very long anime phase, and I'm pretty decent with language.
Very
in
long,
so
as in
I'm pretty sure.
Like still going.
No, I'm reformed. I'm.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, man, I know very few Japanese words, but I'm so sure Kuma means bear, and I knew Mizu means like water or something related to water. So anyway, I'm glad I was right on that one.
Okay.
Good call.
Well, I want to answer it, and I want to hear you answer it.
Okay, cool.
So, all right, we'll answer this. I got you go first.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go first. All right. So
you go first.
Should I go descending? All right. So let's see. For one, I would say the best safe laner right now would probably be maybe Slardar. He's up there, honestly. That's like kind. Yeah, I would put him up there. But I mean, I would say Slardar is the best hero this patch, outside of Monkey King, obviously. But Slardar fits the metagame really well in that he can just constantly fight a lot. I think probably a better answer that's more widely applicable as like the best one is I would probably say Luna. I think Luna is definitely up there, if not best. I would 1,000% put her in the top 3. One is probably a little less defined, I would say, than 2, 3, 4, 5 for me.
Okay, let's get going. Let's get going on this.
Okay. So 1 is Luna.
Okay.
2, I would say probably Shadow Fiend or OD. OD, I would say, is more consistently good, but Shadow Fiend, if you're not going to be contested, is definitely there. 3, maybe Slardar again. I think
you
Slardar
can't
is
double
really good.
pick. You can't double. Oh,
Sorry.
you didn't. Oh, you didn't. You picked Luna.
Yeah, I took him out.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sand King would be the other one. You want to have a mobile offlane that does well with farm and bashes a lot. Bashing, stunning is just generally good. 4, I would say probably Pudge or Spirit Breaker. It really depends if the person's a good Pudge or not, but Spirit Breaker is also stellar. And 5, I would say Shadow Demon's still real good. Warlock's still really good. Witch Doctor. I think Witch Doctor's gonna be my answer because I'm trying to make like a 1 through 5 that's more generally like you could pick them in any game.
Okay.
I've
got a better 1 through 5.
Okay. That's
so. I think it's all on the early aggression. This game, like this meta, this map. There's a ton of gold, and if you can use that gold like quickly, if you can put that gold to good use sooner, the better, right? Like Luna needs stuff. Luna, like,
Not really.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I lose the Luna when she gets her butterfly. You know what I mean?
She does well with stuff, but she does not need stuff. Like if you're a level 7 Luna, you just ult. You don't need any items.
Ult, and
you just punch people to death.
And you probably have a Dragonlance at that point. Okay, so mine is going to be Juggernaut as a 1 because he can just fight so goddamn early. The spin is ridiculous. I mean, it's not even Omni Slash, honestly. It's not even his ult. It's his sustain, it's his spin, and it's his movement. Like, he's just a fast guy, and he builds items that increase speed, i.e. Phase and Yasha. 2 is going to be Storm Spirit, because Storm Spirit can get pretty much anywhere, and seeing as, you know, you're not really seeing too much 5-on-5, you're seeing like a lot of people like splitting. So I've been loving to play Storm. I feel like Storm is great at just like getting somewhere to back somebody up quickly. Like one guy gets ganked by a Monkey King and I just like, nope, take him out. You know what I mean? Also great. Does well with gold early. Like once I have like Bloodstone Treads, I'm good. And then the steamroll process starts to happen. 3, I'm definitely going to go with Centaur. Centaur is just ridiculous, dude. Denny's been playing Centaur a lot, kicking ass. I have been playing a little bit of Centaur. He's awesome as he always has been, but the fact that he can chew through people so quickly and get so tanky so fast, and if a game goes long, that our return is insane, which makes him a great offlane. 4 position, I'm going to say that Treant Protector is the best 4 position in the game right now, or maybe Monkey King. Either Monkey King or Treant Protector as position 4 being the best.
Monkey King is the best in all 5. That is the correct answer.
Well, the thing about Monkey King is, I don't know, he's highly mobile. He's just as invisible as Treant Protector, and he can really set things up. Like look at Monkey King's ult and look at Treant Protector's ult. Like it's just Treant Protector's ult, but it doesn't keep you there. It just hurts you if you stay in there. You know what I mean? It's like they're very analogous. And then 5 is going to be Lich. Lich is crazy. Like it's insane what Lich can do, especially with experience being king. And I think you could even pick that lineup, like Lich, Centaur, Tree, Jug, Storm, and win like every game. Like what's a direct counter to that team?
Mobility. You lack a lot of CC in your 2 supports, right? Like Treant has a short stun.
Oh, you're right. That's a good point. So as far as a team, that's not the best team because the supports don't have. It's like 2 defensive supports.
Yeah, I think your 5 are good. I think Jug is definitely a contender for 1. I think the nerf to Manta kind of hurt him. But he's definitely good as 1. Good as 2 too. That's for sure. Yeah. I really like Jug mid.
Especially against
I haven't
PA.
played this patch yet, but
love playing Jug against PA. And Denny was the one that was like, you pick Jug into PA if it's going mid. During those dark days of PA mid, which we see less of now.
I mean, we see it less, but it's not terrible. It's really good against Mirana. That's really the only time I'd say it's super good. But Jug doesn't really lose matchups, I would say.
Yeah, he's just
good.
So neutral. He's just such a neutral. He's so balanced. He is like the epitome of a Dota hero, in my opinion. Like, he's just everything that Dota should be. Let's go ahead and ask Kuma what his 5 is. Kuma, what's your 5?
Whew. Oh boy.
Yeah, you're on the spot now.
Yep.
Thanks for that. Well, first of all, I feel like Monkey King has been learned to play around. Like obviously, Timber's obviously picked into him, and anyone with Quelling.
Enigma.
But people have been exactly.
I love
his
Enigma.
Is so big.
Yeah.
I might say Monkey King mid just because easy matchup, easy win of lane. I might say Faceless for 1. We'll see about like if there could be a possible Chrono into Monkey ult. That'd just be gross to see, but awesome if it's on your team.
I wonder how that works. Does it?
It just works.
It works.
Yeah, it's probably the most OP monkey.
Yeah, that is
thing.
stupid.
Obviously, if it works, right? Like it's pretty easy to mess
throw
up.
a Lich in there, and then it's even stupider. But okay, yeah. All right, so you've got your 1, you got your 2.
Three might be, it could either be Timber to block their pick of it if you're Monkey King, or Centaur just because how great he is right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For four, maybe Pudge or Spirit.
Yeah.
I think just because they're both just really good at that. And for five, I'd say like you were mentioning, Roland, Lich, either Lich or CM. Because there could be some crazy AoE synergy there.
CM's really good right now.
CM is really good.
I mean, Centaur is good right now, but I feel like you guys are overrating him a little bit.
Well, we're not 5K. Down at our lower brackets, dude.
I'm not 5K either, dude.
It's tough. Oh, yeah, you're not. That's right. You should love Centaur then, because I heard he only drops off at 5K. So,
I mean, he was really he's definitely good. I'm just saying, like, I think for three, I think Clockwork is honestly
Clockwork is an annoying fuck. I hate him. You know what's also bullshit is that you can deny his cogs as Shadow Fiend. That's stupid. Like
it is.
That should be fixed. That is like blatant cheating.
That's been in the game for so long. Too.
I know,
and it's been in official matches too. Like
we saw it at Boston Major.
We saw it before that too. Like that's been a pretty well known thing. But like for a long time, Shadow Fiend sucked and Clockwork sucked. But then Clockwork got better and Shadow Fiend got way better. And it's something that you see so infrequently that's just like a cute little, it's like a cute little game knowledge thing that you could flex. Yeah. Right? You could be like, oh man, let me deny your cogs. And people are like, oh man, you're so smart.
Don't use my early mana. Anyway, Kuma, thank you so much for your question. That was fun to answer.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for letting me come on, guys. Thanks.
Of course. That was fun. I think I agree with Luna. Luna's so goddamn good. That hero is just so goddamn good. I feel like
I hate it.
I hate that like I die and then I lose. Like that is what happens. Like if you die in front of your base to a Luna, you lose. That's it. It's done. It's over.
I will say. Sorry, I don't know.
No.
Honorable mention would be Meepo for 1 and 2. I didn't say that because obviously you have to be a Meepo player, but Meepo is honestly incredible. I know we've talked about this ad nauseum on the podcast recently, but he is silly good.
He is ridiculous.
You could solo Roach at 8 minutes on Meepo right now.
Well,
give or take 8 minutes.
So I have a little story. I have a little insight here into this Meepo thing. I wanted to learn Meepo because I was like, I've played all the heroes. I played Meepo. I'm not a good Meepo because I don't have the right controls set. And so I went and watched a video of like this 6K Meepo player, and he's like, this is how my controls are set. And you have to have 1 through 5 open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 open in order. He said there's some workarounds, but the vast majority of good Meepo players have 1 through 5 open. So you can put each Meepo, respectively on 1 through 5. But all my items are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 T. So I can never be a Meepo player.
I have one. I use for control groups. I use tilde 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for my control groups.
Oh wow! So you could be a Meepo player.
I know. I don't hate myself enough to do that.
Why? But good Meepo players are fucking cool to watch. It's impressive, honestly.
Oh, I mean, it's super impressive. But I just I appreciate good Meepo players, and I have the utmost respect for them, but I don't like the hero. I just don't like everything about him. He doesn't suit my play style. I don't want to micro 6 things. I don't like Meepo players fundamentally. I like people that individually play Meepo, but if you ask me do you like Meepo players, do you think they're respectable adults, I would say individually it's like what they say, it's like what they say with politics is that, or with anything, is that a person is smart and respectable, people are dumb.
Yeah, okay.
And so I would say individual Meepo players are impressive, and I like that. And
but
I think
Meepo players are dumb.
Yeah, the analogous Meepo players is terrifying and anomalous and just horrific. Also, I've been losing to it constantly.
Yeah, it's bad. Whenever I see a Meepo on my team, I rejoice, like I told Proud. And whenever I'm against it, I'm like, all right, we're gonna kill that Meepo. Let's smoke. Come on, let's get him. All right, so Colo writes in, I don't know his MMR. This is a write-in question. He's a new player to Dota. And
He says he has no MMR yet.
Yeah, he has no MMR. And his first question is, for entry-level players in dual lane scenarios, is it more beneficial to pick greedy? For example, a carry in the off lane versus a more traditional off laner.
Let's see. I'll give a quick answer.
Yeah, let's do quick answers on these.
Yeah, I'll say yes. It is better to just play more greedy, but not to play super greedy, right? So an example would be you could pick an offlaner in like a carry-esque hero in the offlaner that is like a Weaver or a Juggernaut or a Luna that like can do things without items, whereas you don't want to pick like a super greedy hero like a Spectre or an AM, right? So you want to be able to fight, but also be able to do things if you get the farm.
I agree. Okay, early game appears to rely a lot on physical damage dealers versus magic damage dealers. What are the best supports in general over physical damage dealers? Sorry.
So it basically want to pick heroes that have plus armor or heroes that are just going to be able to stun or CC, right? So I think he mentioned this in his email, but Lion is a good example against heroes that are just going to dive you or rely on physical damage, right? Because they can't hit you if they're stunned or hexed. But the other alternative is just to pick armor, right? So Dazzle is good, Lich is good, heroes like that, or Bane. Bane is honestly ridiculous against physical damage because you just enfeeble and it's unpurgeable.
Yeah. It's
and they
so annoying.
So fun little side story. We got manhandled by some 5.5k Bane player that went off lane, and he max enfeeble either first or second. And if you look at Enfeeble, it's unpurgeable. You cannot manta it off. You cannot purge it off with any ability as far as I know. It has an 8-second cooldown, and it reduces damage 30, 60, 90, 120. So I was playing... What was I playing against it? I think I was playing Marana.
And you just did no damage?
No, I was playing Legion Commander, and I literally did no damage. It doesn't, reduce it... other things reduce damage by percentage.
This is just flat out.
It is just flat.
So
you
it's
do
best
no
early.
damage right now.
So really, it is best early. It's probably if you're going to play that type of Bane, it's best to max it early.
Early/mid game, right? Because you have to think he's not. Generally, you're not going to offlane him. So generally, you're not going to be, and you're not going to max it first. Generally, you're going to max Brain Sap, 1 point Nightmare, and then level Enfeeble. Mm-hmm. But very early, so one of the best effective roaming things against a Shadow Fiend or really any hero, but especially a Shadow Fiend, is you just pick Bane. And you just get Enfeeble at level 1. He has incredible stats. You could start a null if you want to. If you have another support like a 5 to just buy all the stuff.
Brilliant, Ursi. He'll never get anything.
Yeah, he literally does not do damage.
God.
A Bane or a Shadow Fiend at level 1 does 40 damage, 42.
I think 46. So with Wraith Band, it's 46.
Yeah,
or something
so
39.
That.
I want to say 46. It might be 52, so he might do 43 or 44, and with a Wraith Band he does 52. I know it's obviously whoever has played Shadow Fiend knows that first wave is impossible. So thank you for that. I learned something today. I'm going to do that.
It's 38 damage a base.
Oh, 38 base. Okay, so it's adding 9, so 47 is what he's doing with a Wraith. Okay, damn. Still nothing. Okay.
Yeah, it's literally unplayable.
That is awesome. I'm going to do that against Shadow Fiend. And seeing as I'm playing support already, what do I care if I get Enfeeble level 1? You know what I mean? I don't care. I'm going to get level 2 by just running around and grabbing bounties because people don't respect their bounty runes. I'll tell you that much. Or people can't leave lane. Like when it's a solo offlaner and a mid and then a tri-lane, that rune is always open. The opponent offlane rune. Bounty rune. I just always grab it as a support. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, Bane's really good.
I'm gonna do that, and he's fast.
A support hero.
He's a fast
hero.
He's
fast.
Yeah.
His starting stats are the best in the game. No lie. Overall, his starting stats are the best in the game. He could just walk over and just slap people with his purple.
I'm sorry for giving you shit, man. You actually know. You know what you're talking about. You just earned my respect, dude.
Let's see. Bane right now. You earned
my respect,
at level 1,
totally.
He has 640 health, 4 armor,
really
310 move speed, and 58 base damage.
Damn.
And Enfeeble costs 95 mana, but level 1 Brain Sap costs 70 mana. That's pure damage, which gives you health, takes away from the enemy, and pierces spell immunity.
Jesus. Okay, that's
ridiculous.
We can't keep going on. We've got a lot more to answer.
Yep.
And we got one more caller waiting. So, last question from Colo. And this is a really good question. What situations call for skipping grabbing a talent in favor of grabbing a skill point instead?
Very few.
I think Blink heroes, maybe. Like Blink heroes under pressure, or I need to get this that I don't already have by level. I guess you have every skill by level 10 anyway. You have to have every skill, at least one in every skill by level 10. There's got to be some heroes.
Outworld OD is the only hero I've been skipping at 10, and honestly, it's only like half the time.
Is it just a favored passive?
No, you only get 3 points passive, so at this point you're getting another point in your queue.
Oh, okay.
And it makes it quite a bit more effective. The other thing is his level 10 that you're picking is 250 mana. And that's only effective with your ult. So generally what you do is you don't get ult at 6, right? Because you need to be leveling his passive and his nuke. So I generally get his ult at 10, and then I get his talent at 11, and then I get his second level ult at 12. So that's one hero that I don't get it at 10 because why do I need 250 mana? I'm an OD.
Yeah.
So that's one, but
I feel like it's more on the cores that you would skip it. Sven, it's I don't want 5 strength right now. I'd rather have an extra point in Stormhammer or an extra point in his E. That's the heroes that I think of, or Slark. No, I'm gonna grab another point in Essence Shift.
There aren't a lot of heroes. I'll say that much.
Yeah, the talents are definitely good. So,
but I will say the only just to close this part of the question out is that I will say use your discretion. Right, if you are dominating and your choice is do I want 5 strength or 10 movement speed? Which nobody has those terrible choices. But
some carries do. Some hard carries are lose 10 gold a second or -2 strength, and you're
yeah, some are not great. So use your discretion, right? And if you're playing Legion and you're okay, well, I could have 1 extra point in my passive, or I could have 7 strength. It's 7 strength, that's 140 health, or you could get 15% XP gain. It's it's 15%, whatever. So if you feel hey, I would just like more points in passive, go for it, right? But keep that in mind, use your discretion. But in general, I'd say almost everybody should be getting one of their talents at 10.
I agree.
Yeah.
We got to move on because I'm going to do the caller last. We've got 2 more questions to answer. Let's just do these real quick. I think this is a fun one. This one's from Grouty. It's a write-in. If you could add another power-up rune, what would you have it do?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know. That's exactly what I thought. I thought, damn, that's cool.
Let's see. Power Rune. What would I want a Power Rune to do? I was gonna say it'd be cool to have a Power Rune that gives you a charge of Blink. I don't know how that would be implemented specifically. Would it just give you an extra key?
That's cool.
That would be interesting. Or if it would. I was gonna say. So my other 2 that I was thinking of would be, it'd be cool if you had a rune that just refreshed all your abilities, but that would be way
Mystic
too OP.
Rune, almost. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's
kind of.
I was it'd be cool if there was a rune that made illusions, and then it's oh yeah, I'm racking my brain here and feel they covered it pretty well.
It would be it'd be interesting to certain runes, but a lot of the new ideas I'm thinking of would just be way too OP. It'd be cool to have a rune that was kind of like a bounty rune, but it would just give you double bounties for everything for 30 seconds. Or
what about a TP rune?
Yeah, I thought about that too.
That would be cool. Or what if runes scaled? There were you had early game runes, they spawn from 0 to 15 minutes, and then runes scaled, and then the TP rune doesn't come in until 15 to 30 minutes in the game. And when you pick it and you hit it on your bottle, you have the option to TP Nature's Prophet. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then it's wildly the best rune hands down in the game. Easily.
Yeah.
It's hard. They did a real good job balancing all the runes, I've got to say. Because all my ideas are either way OP or the same thing that's already out there. Do you have anything fresh?
I'm not sure. I feel
it's a cool question. I just don't have any good ideas.
Something if I had a few hours.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I mean, I'm thinking like, what if it made you move faster? Oh shit, haste rune. What if it made you do more damage? Oh shit, double damage. Like,
I mean, we already have runes at scale too. Like to talk about what you just said is like DD scales, regen scales, illusion scale,
You're right.
bounty rune scale.
What about an experience rune? Oh, yeah, bounty runes. Yeah, that's right. Bounty runes.
Yeah,
I guess you could split up bounty runes, and one gives gold and one gives experience, and that way, like, it's like, oh man, but because experience is so important, and you could make it give a little more gold and a little more experience. I don't know. That's an idea. That's maybe not super OP. I'm stumped too. Okay, last write-in question, then we'll get to our last call-in question, then we'll close this out. Last write-in question is from Blue. And this is one that you're going to like. This one seems right up your alley. And he asks, is Battle Fury too weak of an item in this meta? Does it need a change, or is it fine where it is? Seems like Maelstrom is all the rage now and has left Battle Fury in the dust with the emphasis on constant fighting. So what do you think, Ursi? Battle Fury, bad item? Or
no.
Yeah, I feel the same. The damage on it is just insane. It's insane. I built it on a Magnus recently, and like I know that like people would have been disappointed in me, but it was just so much fun. And all of a sudden, like I was a Magnus right clicker. It was cool.
Yeah, I mean you're already a Magnus right clicker with like an Echo Saber.
I had the Echo Saber too. I had Echo because
I built the Radiant on a Magnus the other day, right? So I'm not. I feel you. He's just fun to build miscellaneous items on.
Yeah.
Anyway. Battle Fury is good, and plus, I definitely think it's still a good item. I'll say that. I do think Maelstrom is just way better now.
Because of cost?
Yeah, it's just cheap, right?
Yeah.
Like 2,700 gold is like nothing, right? You can get it super fast, and magic damage is really good, right? And then it scales, so you can buy it as like an early item and have other things. And then late game, you can be like, oh, hey, I can actually improve this item that I invested money in early, compared to like an item like an Echo Saber. Echo Saber is probably a bad example. But if you have an item like an Armlet, you're like, okay, it's late game. This is still very useful, and I like this, but I can't go anywhere with it. Maelstrom is similar cost and similar early game effectiveness, but it can actually go somewhere later. And Mjolnir is a stellar item in and of itself.
Yeah, I was hoping they would do like a Bloodthorn effect with Battle Fury. You know, give it one more upgrade, like a super, like, I don't know.
I think
it would be cool.
So I would say Battle Fury is still really good. It's just that in a lot of situations, flash farming is less valued because the camps respawn less frequently, and you're splitting them up between more people. Battle Fury still is really good because plus damage is really good.
And it's rare. Honestly, it's kind of rare to find plus damage.
That's the thing, is plus damage used to be more common, right? But then they started taking plus damage off of things in favor of making their procs better. So that's in the case of MKB and Basher and Abyssal.
Basher doesn't do shit. I was so surprised to build that recently and be like, wait, 10 damage? Like, lame.
So yeah, I mean, Battle Fury is still very good, but it's just a little worse, right? Because if you're playing AM and you're flash farming super fast, you don't benefit from that as much as you used to because you don't need to, right? Because it only respawns every 2 minutes.
It's true. Okay, so we have a caller on the line. It's Straka. He's a 1500 MMR player, and he wants to ask something about what? What do you want to ask about, Straka?
Backwards.
Straka.
Hello.
I wanted to ask why CK is now my favorite hero. I don't know.
So
he's so good.
So Chaos Knight, what's going on with your 1500 MMR? Are you climbing with Chaos Knight?
With CK, I've won a couple in ranked recently with him, and I've played out of my last 20 games, like 10 of them have been with Chaos Knight.
And your win rate?
Oh, I've lost one.
Okay.
Of the CK games.
How are you building it?
I'm building treads like wand, Echo Saber, then straight into heart. Nothing after that.
Yeah. But let's ask the expert here.
Really
what do you think, Ursi?
So CK is good. I think that's why you like him, right? He was bad for a while, but he's like a fun conceptual hero. And he's gotten some buffs that are actually interesting buffs over the last few matches.
What?
So they...
Ags buff?
I wish I had it pulled up exactly.
Just paraphrase it. Just paraphrase it. Don't be... We know that Ursi's not going to be exact on this.
So now he does minus armor on Reality Rift. That's not a this patch change. That's a last patch or 2 patches ago change, and
Okay.
that's a big one. And Chaos Strike does a ton of crit damage, and it gives you lifesteal now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So the heroes just gotten better gradually, and the illusions have been buffed. Even though there was an illusion nerf this patch, illusions in general have been buffed, and it dispels when you cast it.
The
which is a
illusion
nice
nerf
little thing.
being gold. Is that
Gold, yeah, and they hit
okay.
towers for less damage.
Oh yeah, they hit for normal damage now or something like that, right? Like they.
Well, yeah, it's just their damage is calculated and like made into a percentage. I think it's 50% damage at buildings, whereas it used to be 60.
Good.
But the hero itself is just he does well with a lot of these cheap items that let him fight a lot. He's pretty tanky. He does well in a solo lane or in like a fighting lane compared to some other carries that we spoke about earlier that don't do well in that. Obviously, Backwards isn't playing CK like this, but support CK and roaming for CK and offlane CK are now way more viable than they used to be because of his talents, which are good. He has good carry, a good carry tree, but he also has a really good support / offlane tree where you can go intelligence, move speed, GPM, and then your ags for your ult on you if you have like a carry like a Morphling, or really any carry. But if you have a carry like a Morphling, let's say that's stat based, you can make crazy good illusions of him.
Yeah. No.
So he's just
cool.
he's just a good hero, and he's always been a popular hero, but he was just bad for a while, and now he's not. So people like him.
Are we gonna see
I don't play him
IOCK
personally,
again?
That's a good question. Maybe. I mean, whenever IO is popular, CK is a little more popular, and whenever CK is popular, IO is a little more popular.
You know, IO's the lowest win rate.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean,
37% or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good example of a hero that like win rate is not very a useful stat on
No, it's
overall,
not.
Right? Because
it's a team hero for sure.
Yeah. The thing about IO is IO combos used to be way more popular when less heroes were viable just because the game was in a worse place, but also people just weren't as good at IO, so they would rely on combos like IO Tiny and IO CK. But now, like, when you watch pro games or like when you watch IO players in high tier pubs, or even low tier pubs, like you just get people that are just really good IO players. Like people are just better with the heroes, so they can make it work with more heroes, so they don't have to rely on being like, oh, I'm playing IO CK or IO Tiny. So IO's just good
for sure.
But
for sure.
That being said, he will be more popular if CK is more popular, and vice versa.
Yeah. So Backwards, play 10 ranked games of Chaos Knight and come back next week and tell us if you're... So 10 games, and say you lose one, what would that put you up? That'd put you up 200 MMR.
Yeah, 225.
Well, he loses the one, so 200.
Well, so 225, right?
I promise
No.
it's 200, but we can do the math later.
10 times 25 is 250, right?
Uh-huh.
So it'd be 225.
But then he loses one.
Okay, but...
You're right.
I'm at a loss.
You're right.
I'm right.
Okay, so
that's
Backwards.
why I'm at a loss.
I was like, I was searching for some way to like pull myself out of that, but no, you're right. Yet again, Ursi, you've won my respect. So Backwards, play like 10 games of ranked CK and come back and see if you're climbing, and let us know next week.
Okay.
And yeah, CK is an awesome hero, and I'm glad you're liking him. You're gonna learn a lot of good mechanics playing CK. Honestly,
Yeah. You'll learn a lot about armlet toggling. You should start picking up armlet. It's actually one of these weird things where I just know, like, there's certain people that just love rushing Heart. I've played with a few of them historically, and Heart's really, really good, especially on CK.
but with armlet, it's even better.
But I will say, like, armlet is similar effectiveness in the early to mid game as a Heart, except like it's a third of the cost, like half the cost, and then some.
And
So.
armlet plus Heart, and being able to leave your armlet on and not worry about it and just like run around as a man. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
It's
so
great.
yeah, Armlet Echo Saber is legit. SNY is still good on them too. If you're not going Armlet.
I can't wait to see you be
I
a
will
3K
say-
CK. Oh, go ahead. Backward.
I have played a couple Armlet games and Vlad's games when we've been losing.
How do those go? Obviously good. You've only
we
lost
won
one.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New HOD is probably really good on him too. Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
On the
Vlad's-
the roaming one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean either or. Like people are just saying, like some pro players on Twitter, especially, they're just like, yeah, just buy new HOD on everybody.
Yeah,
It's just like it's so much
good.
stats.
And little things moving around at 425, a purge creep moving around at 425 move speed, and having a ridiculous amount of health is really fun. Hey, Backwards, thank you for your question.
Thank you for answering.
Of course. Wasn't really a question. It was more of a why is he so... Well, no, it was why is he so good at CK? And you answered it very well. So
CK is just a fun hero.
He is a fun hero. Ursi, I'm gonna close us.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best here. You can find us at defenseofthepatients.com. You can email us at defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. You can go to YouTube/.ptv1. You can go to twitch.tv/.ptv. Yeah, that's where you're going to find Hakuna Marana practices, which are fun. Hey, real quick question. Did you get a new person on your team? Is that like or is it like tryout?
We had a tryout yesterday that went pretty well, so I think we did. I don't know.
Oh,
We
wow.
didn't have like a meeting that we were like voting in anybody. But we played with the guy
That is
that's
tittillating. I can't wait to find out who the new member is.
You don't know him.
I know I don't know him, but I was listening. I watched, and that's where I saw the Slardar support thing, because I was like, should I just pick Slardar support? And I was like, what? And then I saw it and I was like, that was cool. Like that worked. Faf played a good support Slardar. So yeah, you can check them out. You can see me streaming, although I will start streaming. I've lost a lot of MMR. I'm in I think the 35s now. But it's not my fault. It's everybody else's fault. I'm really a 5K player on the inside. No, I will start streaming again. It's been busy. I did lose a lot of games. Dude, it was just one bad night. And then, yeah.
Don't I know it, dude? I lost 50 MMR because I had one bad night, and I'm never gonna live it down until I gain 50. So
yeah, and then and if you lose again, then you got to win 3, and you lose after that, and then you got to win 4. Yeah. It's just I feel your pain.
Yeah. I get a lot of ranked anxiety, I'll say.
You just need to go in with and just be like, whatever, I'm good at this game, because you are, and pick Bane against Shadow Fiend, and you'll win.
I actually may just start spamming Bane.
I'm literally going to go into a game after this and just find an excuse to pick Bane and be like, oh, dude, they have a Juggernaut. I should pick Bane or something like that.
Yeah, people think he's boring, but he's honestly really good. He's also, he's like maybe the best support.
Gripping somebody, dude, is awesome. Like if you get like a good like fog grip where you're in the fog and they're like, what the fuck's happening to me? He's
hard to kill.
Yeah, he's tanky and he's fast and he lifesteals with brain sap. Oh, it's great. Or like steals health, I guess. Not really lifesteal.
Maybe for this Theory Crafting Thursday, we'll play a Bane combo.
Oh, you guys should. You should. You can go to Patreon. You can go to our Defense of the Patients, where Gushi is the main man moderator, meme lord master. And we love him. And anything I'm missing here? YouTube.
iTunes reviews.
No, iTunes reviews. Please leave them. Please. It helps. Please. It doesn't take anything from you except clickety clacks on your keyboard. Please be honest on them.
And you can be funny, like Mini Ninja was.
Mini Ninja was hilarious. I laughed out loud. I read it before on the show and laughed like hysterically. It was so funny.
Yeah. Also, let's see. Should I finish off your plugs?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so on our website, there's an Amazon banner you can click.
Oh, yeah.
That gives us money, and it costs you nothing if you're using all those Amazon gift cards you got from Christmas from all your unimaginative relatives. Go for it. You can also, Roland mentioned our email, which is very good, but he did not mention the primary thing you should be doing at our email is sending us questions for this show. So you could be like any of the people that we answered questions from today, and either show up while we record this and ask a question live, or simply send us in simply send us in a question, and we would be more than happy to answer us.
Answer it.
Not us.
Yeah, maybe I should just take over. Discord.gg/defense of the patients. You can join the Discord. That is really the best way. And Ursi is super, Ursi's great at, you will find in Ursi. You won't even have to search for him. You won't even have to buy, a master Pokeball. You'll be able to catch Ursi in the Discord, and he will have a conversation with you. He is constantly in there. It's really cool to see. because he's at work and he has a computer and he's able to type to people, and you're good at reaching out to the community. So
I am also always on Twitter. The other thing we did not plug. I am at Ursinity, and the show is at DotP_show. And
I have a Twitter that honestly I almost considered deleting. But because I never use it. I use Defense of the Patients. My last tweet was like 7 days ago. Like I usually only ever tweet out from the Roland account when it has something to do like when you lost your 5K. I think that was my last tweet. So, I don't know. Anyway, but I'm gonna keep it. Sometimes I have opinions that I like to share with people.
That's a scary thing.
And without any further ado, this is Roland for Ursinity saying, you have questions and we have answers.